for 2022 on Adobe, and today we're looking again at the Creative Cloud Express, but at the video component, and also at Premiere Rush, which is a really exciting video editing tool as well. And without further ado, I will hand you over to the wonderful Tim Kitchen.
Oh, thank you, Abigail. I should get you to do all my intros for all my webinars. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully you were at the last session that I did, and this will be an extension of that. But if you weren't, that's okay. We're going to be learning a whole new side of Adobe Creative Cloud Express, and then we're going to have a lot of fun this session. It's going to be pretty full on. If you get lost along the way, don't worry. It's all being recorded, and just do what you can. I just let everyone know before we recorded that it's best if you can split your screen, so you've always got me on one part of your screen, or if you've got two screens, ideally me on one screen and then you're working on the other, or two devices, me on one device and you're working on the other. I tend to find teachers find it a bit easier that way, but if you need to flick between the screens, just get used to doing that, and then we'll see how we go. Let me start by sharing my screen and make sure I get the right screen up. So this is the topic for today: making great videos in minutes. That's right, minutes, not hours as it usually takes. Making great videos in minutes with Creative Cloud Express Video and Premiere Rush. So we're really covering two big parts of the Creative Cloud Express for Education package that's now available free for every K-12 school around the globe, which was a big announcement Adobe made in December last year. We'll touch on that a little bit more later on. Let's do a quick activity now. Can you grab your phone or your tablet device and scan that QR code? It's going to bring up a poll, and the poll you can just quickly do on your phone or your tablet device. If you haven't got your phone or your tablet device handy, you can go to minty.com, and there's a code there at the bottom left of this screen, and that'll get you into the same poll. I'm going to jump into it myself so that I can start seeing your answers and make sure that the poll is open, because sometimes it's not. It should be open now because I just tested it a little while ago. Let me just double check that it is, otherwise I'll open it for you. Looks like it is, because we have 4 people who have already filled the first part of the poll already, which is lovely. So now that we're getting some responses to this poll, 5 people, I'm going to bring it across to the share screen. Abigail, can you confirm that everyone can see the QR code for those who haven't got it yet, and also the results are coming through as well on the other side? I can read your lips, Abigail. I can see you're saying yes, so that's good. So we got 7 people who have had a go. Let's see how many people we have in the room, just to make sure we've got at least most of you. Got 11, including myself. So we've got the bulk of you who have been able to do the poll. The first question is, rate your overall experience with Adobe's Creative Cloud products. And we've got 3 people who are regular users of some Creative Cloud products, and we've got 3 people who are none to minimal users. So it's good for me to know where you guys are at. That's why I do this poll. We have 1 person who's a regular user of most Creative Cloud products. Wow, that is pretty cool. Would that person like to identify themselves in the chat? Just say, it's me, because you might be able to be a really big help for others during the session. So it's always good to know who the gurus are if they're going to be willing to do that. And Abigail, keep an eye on the chat, let me know if that comes through. And we have 2 people who are occasional users of some Creative Cloud products. So generally we've got a mix here of people who really are minimal users to some who have used some, and some a bit more than some, which is terrific. That 1 person who's a regular user of most Creative Cloud products is not outing themselves, probably because they think I'm going to ask them a difficult question. Oh, we have, okay, so Priscilla from Plimpton International College. Excellent. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for letting me know that. And I'm just seeing if I can see Priscilla there with the mask on. Hi, Priscilla. How you going? Hey, Priscilla, have you got a microphone that you can open up or not?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. All right, so what's your favorite out of all the Adobe applications?
I like InDesign, to be honest. That's my favourite. I've used Illustrator, I've done Photoshop. I started using Animate last year, which was a bit harder. Now I'm like lost how many things I've used, but I've used most of them.
Fantastic. If I told you that there actually are 50 applications and resources in Creative Cloud,
I haven't gone through all of those.
not many people realize it's actually 50 apps and resources built in now. It's just amazing how it's developing and growing. And just last question for you, Priscilla. Do you use them for work or do you use them for pleasure or a bit of both?
A bit of both.
Excellent. Good. So Priscilla, thank you. And keep looking at the chat as well, because there might be some people who ask some questions that you might be able to help answer between you and Abigail. And it'd be really great to get your support in that so we can get through this. I've got another poll question which is about to come up, and that is, rate your experience with the Adobe Education Exchange. And you've got 4 different options here. Don't know about it, not joined, but have looked at it, joined, but not an active member, joined, and a regular user. So give us your quick responses to that about the Adobe Education Exchange. And we've already got 4 people who don't know about it, so that's good. I'll make sure you do know about it by the end of this session, because it's a one-stop shop for teachers to get support and help. Curriculum ideas, lesson plans, video tutorials, all sorts of really great professional learning, as well as teaching resources. Last year in July, I think Abigail knows this, we hit 1 million teachers on the Adobe Education Exchange. So it's an incredible portal with teachers just helping each other out, because it's not necessarily always easy to be using our tools and working out how to use them to be creative in curriculum areas. So this resource is just brilliant. Good, so we've got 5 people who now know about it, and we'll talk a bit more about how you get access and how you can join. There's no cost involved at all, it's all free. And we've got 1 person who's not joined but had a look at it, 3 people who've joined but are not active members. So no one who's saying that they've joined and is an active member. So I won't put anyone on the spot at this point. So thank you very much for doing that poll. Let's move on to the next bit. I want to play a quick video that kind of outlines a lot of the Adobe applications and how they're used in education. If you were at my last session, you would have seen this clip before, and this might open up a whole new world for a lot of you. Adobe is the global leader when it comes to digital creativity software. Adobe applications are used at the highest levels of the multimedia and communications industries, as well as in primary schools, secondary schools, and universities all over the globe to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity. Adobe creativity software is now divided into 2 special homes, Creative Cloud Express and the Creative Cloud. Formerly known as Adobe Spark, Adobe Creative Cloud Express is a set of very simple to use creativity tools that can be used by anyone in any curriculum area and level to build powerful graphics, video stories, and web pages. Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education also includes the powerful Adobe Premiere Rush video editing application, as well as Photoshop Express, and is totally free of charge for K-12 schools around the world. The Adobe Creative Cloud is the home of Adobe's well-known industry standard applications such as Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere Pro, XD, and a total of about 50 desktop, mobile, and web-based applications and resources. Other apps that are part of the Adobe Creative Cloud include Acrobat DC for creating, managing, and editing PDF documents and creating a paperless experience, Character Animator for real-time animation, Fresco, the ultimate drawing tool for the iPad and Surface Pro, Lightroom for outstanding photo editing, Aero for creating augmented reality experiences, After Effects for serious video effects and composites, and Audition for multi-track audio editing and podcasting. Get to know these applications through the Adobe Education Exchange, edx.adobe.com, which now has over 1 million members across the globe with a wide variety of free teaching resources and self-paced, on-demand professional development courses for educators. The Adobe Education Exchange is also the gateway to the Adobe Creative Educator program. This is a multi-level badging program designed for any educator in any curriculum area. You don't have to be an Adobe expert to be an Adobe Creative Educator. Scan this QR code or look up adobe.ly/edu events to find out more about coming events that Adobe is running for teachers, and use this QR code or look up adobe.ly/contact-edu-apac to get in touch with the Adobe Education team or subscribe to their monthly newsletter. Please let your colleagues know about what is possible with Adobe's amazing tools to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity in the teaching and learning process. And Abigail, I was really pleased that quite a few teachers after our last session did contact us through that contact form and are now on our email list. So they're getting our monthly newsletter to keep up to date with all the wonderful things that are there. I've just put in two links in the chat. One is a link to the Adobe Education Exchange, although it's come a bit weird there, Abigail. I don't know if you can fix that up. I was just having some delay issues at my end, so it looks like it's actually entered the URL twice. Would you mind just grabbing the first part of that, edx.adobe.com, and bring that in as a separate link to make it easier for everyone? That'd be great. And then the second link worked well. That's the Adobe Creative Educator program. It'd be worth checking that out too. It's a badging program that we recommend for any teacher. You don't even have to be an Adobe user to really benefit. It's all about creativity in education as opposed to being an Adobe user as such. So just to give you the context, the tools that were just talked about in that video are actually available to every New South Wales and Victorian government secondary school. Both the New South Wales and Victorian governments have realised how important it is to get these tools into the hands of their young people so that they're getting better prepared for any sort of industry in the future. Every other system, including South Australia, the schools have to opt in to get it. So the schools are given a certain amount of money and then they go and decide which software they want to use. So not every South Australian school has it, but if you see there's value in the full Creative Cloud for your school, then you need to opt in to the agreement that the South Australian Department for Education have got with Adobe. But when it comes to the Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education, they're all free for every K-12 school around the world. So there's no license agreement required. There's no need to pay a cent. You get access for all your students, and we'll talk a bit about that a little bit later if you haven't already taken advantage of that opportunity. But let's get you started. Let's see what you already have access to. So if you go to that link, and Abigail, I'm going to attempt to put that link into the chat. It seems to be when I'm playing a video, I have issues, but when I'm not playing the video, it's working a little bit better. It's not perfect, but it's working a little bit better now. So I'm going to bring that link into the chat to make it easier for everyone. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to creativecloud.adobe.com. And then I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to choose to do it with a Chrome browser. And I'll just make that a bit smaller so you can still see the link, but it is in the chat if I'm hiding it from you. This is probably the simplest way to get access to all the tools, or to at least find out what access you currently have. So once you get in there, it's going to encourage you to sign in. Now, Abigail, they'll use their South Australian Department for Education email address, won't they? So put that in, otherwise it's not going to work.
The @schools email address.
Excellent. And you'll probably find that you're in quicker than I am, because I have to go through 2 layers of authentication, which is, oh no, it looks like I logged in recently, so I'm all good. So I'm starting to go in now. And hopefully your computer is starting to open up with access to the Creative Cloud. What you want to do as soon as you get access, as soon as your computer starts to show you what I'm seeing here, up the top left-hand corner, there are some little tabs. We've got apps, files, learn, discover, stock and marketplace. The most important one here is apps. So if you go ahead and find that and click on apps, that's going to take you directly into whatever access the school has given you to the Adobe Creative Cloud. So for me, I've got all of the products. You can see I've downloaded all of them. You might find that this is where you get to download and put them onto your machine, or where you get to undownload. What do you call that? That's not the right word, is it? Where you take it off your machine. You get to control it, hopefully. That's the way most schools work these days for your BYO devices as such. If it's a school lab, obviously it's different because the IT manager will manage everything that way with a package. We won't need to go into that, but you can get a full sense. Now, I've got some exciting news. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say this, so just keep this to yourself. I found out yesterday that these 3D products will be available free for all K-12 schools in July or winter this year. Blew me away when I found that out, and that's such a big announcement that Adobe is about to make. So it's all unofficial. If anyone tells you that I told you that, I'm going to deny it. But that was really exciting to hear that, and it's going to be free. So even just like Creative Cloud Express for Education is free, the substance tools will be added to that bundle, I imagine, is how they're going to do it. So you don't even have to have a license to get access to these incredible 3D tools to help you make 3D virtual photography and 3D art for your gaming, for your videos, for your movies. It's just an amazing world. It's like Photoshop gone to the next level when it's 3D, and it's relatively a simple process to build as well. So I can see grade 4 and above just loving these tools and no longer working in 2D and doing everything in 3D, which is just brilliant. So stay tuned for that. And Abigail, we're going to have to create a special session for that when it comes available later this year. Now, what I want to point you to now, because I'm going to make the assumption that there's a few of you who don't have access to any of these professional tools because your school hasn't given you access, but you will have access, hopefully, to the Creative Cloud Express by taking your cursor up to where it says Web, up the top center. Click on Web, because Creative Cloud Express is generally a web-based tool, although there are mobile versions of the apps, and of course Premiere Rush and Photoshop Express you do need to download. We'll get to that a little bit later, but there it is, folks. There's Creative Cloud Express. So that is a way of getting in. If you click launch, you'll get in without needing to sign in because you've already signed in. Now I'm going to make the assumption that there's a few of you where that just didn't work at all, and your school hasn't got you set up, and it's just not, you're having all sorts of frustrations. So I'm going to show you another way of getting in, which is the way I think I showed everyone in the last session. And that is to very simply just type in Creative Cloud Express into your browser. And then it'll come up for you. express.adobe.com is the actual URL. So I'll see if I can grab that. I'll grab the whole URL and put it into the chat. And I'm going to sign out so that you can see it the way that you would be seeing it. Abigail, I am having delay issues, I'm afraid, with this, but it's not too bad. It's sort of working. So I'm going to quickly log out because I was in this set of applications only a few hours ago. So I'll sign out. Now, a number of you are already in because you've gone in through that first process that I told you, which meant you don't need to sign in. If it didn't work for you, make sure you're clicking into this now and then go ahead and sign in by clicking sign in. If it didn't work the first time when you signed in with your school account because the school hasn't organized access for you yet, go ahead and log in with your Facebook account or your Google account or your Apple account or your Adobe account, because these are all free ways of getting in. But you do need to be 13 or over to go in through the free. It's a limited version of Creative Cloud Express. It's still great, and it'll still do just about everything you want to do, but you need to be 13 or over, and you also need to be realized that you're not going to get full access to the full app. So the best thing to do if you weren't able to access through the school is to get your school to give you access at some point. And in a nutshell, that just means your IT administrator has to register your email address into what's called the Adobe Admin Console, which they manage for all their Adobe products, or this might be the only Adobe product that they use. Once you're registered there, there's no cost at all. Once you're registered yourself and your students, everything's in-house. And so when you go to Google, Facebook, Apple, or Adobe, it's not in-house. You're sending your personal information to Google, to Facebook, to Apple, or to Adobe. You want to try and avoid that, especially with students. So try and get it happening through the school system if you haven't already. For now, if you haven't got it through the school system, go in through here because you're all over 13, so you know I'm sure it'll all be good. So I'm going to quickly log in with the school account, just like I did before, and hopefully I probably will need to go through 2 layers of authentication. Let's see what happens. It's looking good, actually. It's looking like I'm nearly there. All right, so I'm nearly in. Hopefully you guys are all in. Can you go to the chat now? Give us a yes or a no. Are you in Creative Cloud Express? Just need to know how many of you are ready for the next stage of this tutorial. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Oh, Osea. Beautiful name. Thank you, Osea. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you. And Carla and Tracy and Carmel. Oh, Carmel's not in. So Abigail, maybe through the chat, we might be able to help Carmel, and Lindy's having some issues as well. Lindy and Carmel, if you're able to identify what the issue is, maybe in the chat. If not, quickly open up your microphone now to see if we can help you get in. And Mercy, you're having some issues as well, it looks like. David's in twice. He's really keen. So I'm just concerned about Carmel and Lindy and Mercy. Is there anything we can do to help you at this point? And Sonia saying, sorry, I'm on a phone, but getting to a meeting through my computer if I can. All right, Sonia.
Yeah, Carmel, you should still be able to access the Creative Cloud with a personal email account. So even if you're a TRT, you can go in through one of the ways that Tim mentioned, i.e. with Facebook or Google, or you can create that Adobe ID. So you should hopefully be able to go through that.
So what we'll do,
I'll keep trying.
Thanks, Carmel. We're going to keep going anyway, because most of you seem to be in, and of course you can always watch the recording later on and catch up if required. Oh, Mercy's in now, which is good. Thanks, Mercy. All right, now we're going to do a little activity, and I think the people who were with us last time will have a slight advantage over everyone else, but we'll see how we go. So the activity is we're only going to spend 5 minutes on this and see how we go. We're going to make a short animated poster about something that is currently really important to us. So start thinking now, what's something that's really important to you right now, whether it's something that's international, if it's something that's weather related, if it's something that's family related, something at school. Just think of a topic quickly, because all we need is an image, we need a bit of text and some icons. We're going to animate it. In the next 5 minutes, you're going to create this little animated poster that relates to that topic. Here's the process for those of you who've never done it. Those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about, go ahead and start building it now. You'll be ready in a couple of minutes. You may not know the animated side of it though. But those of you who are not sure, work with me now. First thing, go up to the top left-hand corner and hit that little plus symbol. And we're going to create a custom size graphic. So click on custom size graphic and you'll get some resolutions to play with. What I'm going to recommend is just go simple rather than worrying about pixel size, which you can do. You can actually totally work out whatever resolution you want. Go to print to make it easier and just go straight to A4. We're going to make this an A4 animated poster. So click on print, A4, and then click next. And we're not going to be going too slow for this because this is not the theme of our session today, although we're going to be using what you create because we are actually creating a video here. And we're going to bring this video into a proper, almost a proper video a little bit later. So we've got a blank canvas, an A4 size blank canvas to work with. And hopefully you've all chosen you thought about your topic. My topic is my daughter is turning 21 soon, and we're having a surprise birthday party for her. Don't tell her. So I'm going to do a quick little happy 21st to my daughter. So I'm just simply going to go, in fact, I'm going to go to the No, I'm not going to go to templates because that's cheating. It's a good way to do it. You'll get a poster made really quickly. And if you look at the recording of the last session, we went into a bit of detail of that. I'm just going to go to text and I'm going to type in, oh, I actually quite like these templates here. In fact, that's a nice one. I'm going to choose that one. And instead of feeling stylish as it comes up onto my stage, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go to the right-hand side, just the word feeling. I've double-clicked the word feeling and I'm going to change it to happy. And I'm going to make it happy 21st. You can choose whatever topic you want. And I'm going to change stylish to happy 21st Talana. That's her name. She's training to be a teacher herself, actually. She's at uni right now, doing her second year of education at Monash University. Now, with this template, it seems to be grouped, which is causing me a bit of angst because everything's sort of grouped together. So I'm going to go and click this button here called Ungroup. And that will allow me to separate all the different parts of here so I can move them around a little bit. And I'm pretty happy with the colors at the moment, but of course I could change the colors if I wanted to. And down the bottom right-hand corner here are a bunch of layers. This is quite handy. A lovely way of introducing students to the concept of layers. And then when you're introducing them into, say, Photoshop in the future, they'll have a bit of an understanding of what layers mean when they're working with a tool like this. So I've got my text title. I'm going to bring in a photo now. And I'm going to go below text and hit the photos button. And very quickly, what I want to do is, in this case, I'm going to find a photo of Talana because I've been working on this already. So you can have a choice. You can find a photo that's already on your device, or you can go searching for a photo that relates to your topic. Either way, see if you can dig up a photo. There's lots of featured photos here as well. But in my case, I'm going to upload an actual image of my daughter when she was a baby. Let's see if I can get access to that. I am having some delay issues, Abigail. I hope we don't crash at some point. I think it's the weather.
Yeah, it seems okay on our screen. Yeah, I'm not sure, Jim. Fingers crossed.
No worries. We'll carry on and keep calm. So I'm just looking for an appropriate baby photo. While you're doing the same with whatever topic yours is. Might find a toddler photo. That'll do. Just to save time, I'm going to choose that one. So it's coming, that photo is now coming up onto the stage. And I can click on that photo and drag it around, because what this is a basic desktop publishing tool. I can also resize the photo or scale it, make it bigger or smaller. I can even rotate it slightly if I want to match the angle of my text. So there's a few basic tools. On the right-hand side, there's some filters, enhancements, blurs, all sorts of really cool things that you could add. I'm going to go to the icons category now too. I'm going to do a quick search for an icon that's related to birthdays. Let's see what comes up. I wonder if I do a search for 21st, let's be really specific here and see what comes up. I might know, too specific, so I'll just go with birthday. And these are great because these icons, you can use them in all sorts of things. And which one do you think I might just grab? This one I'll do. I'm going to grab that icon, and just by clicking on the icon, it appears on your stage. And then just like an image, you can click on it, or just like text actually, you can click on it and change the color. And it's even going to recommend some different colors that you could use, or you can fine tune, or you can pick some of the colors that are already in your project. So you keep them all nice and consistent with your color scheme. I might go with the purple actually, rather than the pink. In this case, I'll grab the droplet tool and pick up that purple. There we go, that looks better. All right, so we have a basic design here, and I could go to town, I could add backgrounds and so on, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it as it is, keep it really simple. I want to know, before we jump into the last step to make it an animation, go to the chat. How did you go? Give us a yes, I've done one that's got at least an image and text and possibly an icon as well, or no, it's just not working for me. Give us a hint now. Go to the chat, let me know, yes or no. So Jamie's good to go. OC is good to go. Tracy, very low to slow, load anything. Could be a bandwidth issue at the school at the moment. Norika's good to go. Oh, who's that? Linda's only just got in. Okay, so she's going to take her time with us. Gemma, yep, all good. Have a dog poster ready to go. Excellent. Priscilla's good to go. David needs some more time. David's a bit of a perfectionist, I gather, and so he's doing a really massive piece of art here. You haven't got a lot of time, David. Catherine is good to go. Carla's good to go. Carmel's happy to watch. I think I've used Adobe after all, says Carmel. Okay, good. Michael's all good to go. And Norika, I go to get another laptop. Low charge. Oh, okay. And Linda, I'll watch. Terrific. All right. So most of you seem to be okay. Right. Here's the magic step to make it an animation. Just click away from the poster, away from any of your internal design work, and look on the right-hand side and you'll see a button called animation. Click on that animation button, and then you've got an option here. You can animate the text. If you click on, say, the typewriter tool, it turns the text into a little animated text. And that will loop through so you get a sense of what that's going to look like. It's almost like an animated GIF in that sense. Or you could choose to animate the images that are there, or the image of the photo that's been brought in. You could zoom, you could pan. So you're getting some basic animation. I'm going to stick with the typewriter. I think that's probably good for what I've designed here. And that kind of works for me. I can't remember, David, did I show you the animation feature in our last session together? Give me a thumbs up if I, no, so that's a new thing that I've just shown you. All right, so one thing that I wouldn't have shown you last time too is that now that you've turned it into an animation, you can go up to the download button at the top right-hand corner, and you'll notice there is a new way of downloading it as an MP4 video file. So this is probably the simplest way to make a short video, by just converting your poster into a video by turning it into an animation. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll get you to do the same. Doesn't matter if it's no good, just click on the MP4 video option in the download and click Start Download. And what's happening now, it's packaging your video, creating an MP4, and sending it to your downloads folder. And that's where you'll find it later. If you wanted to, you could go to share, and you could actually share it online. You could share it through Google Classrooms or through Microsoft Teams and have it as an animated cloud-based resource. But in this case, for today, we're actually going to make it an MP4 video file. So if I go to my, and if you go to your files, it's really weird. My files have disappeared. Abigail, I'm getting the spinning wheel of death. Hopefully I won't disappear. Yeah, I was playing a little, because I was playing the video, that's probably why. Let me just stop playing the video. I'll just pause that. Let's see if it works a bit better now. It's better? All right. So if I go to my Finder, because I'm using a Mac, but if you go to your Explorer on a PC, come on, here we go. All right, yeah, that took a while. I'm in Explorer now, and of course, if you go to Downloads, you should be able to see your video. I'm going to go to the most recent thing in Downloads, and there it is there. It's called My Project. And yours will be a similar name called My Project as well. So I just want you to be aware of that, because we're going to refer to that MP4 video file a little bit later on. So just make sure you know where it is. All right, let's move on. If you remember the last time we had a session together, going up to the top left-hand corner to the Creative Cloud Express icon, that takes you to the dashboard. So click on that little icon and you get back to the dashboard and we can start a new project. Just be aware that the project that you've just created is sitting in your Projects tab. If you click on your Projects tab, you'll be able to see it. If you want to rework it later on, it's sitting there. And as you develop more projects, you may want to add folders. Top right-hand corner, there's a little folder symbol. See, I've got a whole series of folders here, so I can organize my projects in that way. But we want to create a little video story now. So if you go to the top left-hand corner and hit the plus symbol, and instead of a custom size graphic, go right down to the bottom to where it says video and click on video. Every great story starts somewhere. This is a bit gimmicky. We can, like if I'm working with students, we've got a theme we're working with, I'll put the theme in there. It makes no difference to the video. I generally just skip this part. So go ahead and skip that. This is also great if you're an English teacher, because we provide a scaffold on how to tell a story, a video story, in various genres. So if you are teaching storytelling in different genres, this is a lovely way to do it. How to tell a story that promotes an idea, how to tell what's happened, how to follow a hero's journey, and you end up with a whole series of slides. It's like a template to tell that story, and you just follow the instructions and build your story. For the sake of this webinar, you can look at that in your own time. I just want you to go start from scratch, because that'll be quicker and simpler, less confusing too, because you haven't got all the slides set up for you straight away. So if you click start from scratch, it depends on your bandwidth as to how quickly it comes up. I often say if you're a school that uses iPads or even now Android tablets, you find that iPads or iPhones, so iOS works better. There's a separate app called Adobe Spark Video. It's still called Spark Video, even though we've rebranded. And that does exactly what I'm about to show you, but there's none of that delay because it's built into the app. You're not as bandwidth dependent at all. So if you are an iPad school, I recommend you have a look at Adobe Spark Video, and you'll be able to do everything that we're about to do now, but in a lot more efficiently and much more effectively, with a built-in camera too. It has a few extra features. All right, so hopefully you've got this environment here, and this is the environment we're going to use to tell a quick little video story. Go to the chat, give us a yes or a no. I want to know if we're ready to proceed. And if we've got the bulk of you ready to go, give us a yes or a no. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Osea. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Michael. Let's go. He's keen. All right. Looks like we've got the bulk of you. Thank you, Mercy. Terrific. Now, as you can see, this is a really simple environment to work with. It's just a handful of buttons. First thing I'm going to do is show you this button down the bottom left-hand corner with the plus symbol. When you click on it, it creates a new slide. It's a little bit like creating a PowerPoint deck where you've got slide 1, slide 2, but in fact, you're creating a timeline for your video. So that's the first part of my video. That's the second part of my video. And by default, there's always a credit section and an outro. And you can change the branding of that outro to be your school branding or whichever way you want to. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, make sure you're in the first part of your video, slide 1, we'll call it. And I'm going to do a voiceover. And I'm going to create this story, and it's going to be about creativity in education. So you can do your own story if you like, but I've kind of already scripted some things to say. And the first thing I want to say in this story is, and I'll bring my little script up to the stage so that you can see what I'm planning. Because generally when you're working with students on video stories, it's important to spend some time thinking and planning before you jump into editing and filming. So, but students hate that. They hate the concept of, do I have to sit down? I just want to go and film. So I've got this sort of four statements here about creativity that I've got in my little script. The first one is creativity in education is vital. So I'm going to use that as a voiceover to start with. To do the voiceover, by clicking that little microphone symbol, that will, the first time you click it, it'll ask if you want to allow your microphone to respond to your browser, and then you might have to go into some preferences to do that. Hopefully you just click on a button called allow and it should work. Worst case scenario, if you're finding it's just not responding, you might want to open up with a different browser until you find one that actually works for you. So I'm going to do this. Once you've got the microphone allowed through your preferences, you just have to click and hold down that microphone. I recommend you hold it down for about a second, speak your voiceover, then let go a second after you finish talking, like this. Creativity in education is vital. And if you want to preview, just go over to the play button next to the microphone symbol and click it. Creativity in education is vital. So I've got my voiceover. Did you hear the little organ in the background, a little bit of music in the background that come through? Yeah, you're probably hearing that too. I'm going to give you a few seconds now to do a quick voiceover. It may not be all that quiet. In fact, I'm going to shut up so that I don't disturb your voiceover. Off you go. Norika's saying her computer says no record access. Might try a different browser, Norika. Means you need to log in with a different browser to get that working. Otherwise, just watch what we're doing for the moment. Or you don't have to have a recording. You can just use text and music. Yeah, thanks, Abigail. Okay, so that's enough time. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. If you want to redo it, you just click and hold that purple button again and just re-record. You don't have to rewind or anything like that. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake. You can make as many mistakes as you like. Let's change the music. The music is, you know, it was all right, but if we go up to the top right-hand corner of your environment, click on the music symbol, and you can see there's a whole range of royalty-free music that we've got available for you to work with under various categories. And don't click the word of the song, because that'll load the song. Click the play button next to the song, and that'll preview the song for you. And keep previewing them until you find one that you kind of like. I kind of like that. I'm now going to click the word whistle away because I quite like that. It takes a little while to load. That's why you shouldn't click the words, because it takes too long to load each time. Preview's a better way to go. So I've chosen a different song. So now if I hit the play button again, creativity in education is vital. Good. So I've got, that's why I did the second before I started speaking and the second after, to allow the music to start and the music to continue into the next part of the video. Next step, right in the middle of the stage is another plus or add symbol. When you click on that, you can see you can bring in some video content. You can bring in a title. You can bring in some still images. You can bring in some icons. Very similar to what we did with Spark, with the, sorry, I call it Spark, Abigail. Oh, no, should owe Adobe $1 every time I say that. Like we did with Creative Cloud Express with the desktop publishing side of it. I'm going to do a quick title by clicking the text tool and just typing in the word creativity. You can do whatever you like. I'm not happy with the theme that's there. It's my default Adobe branded theme, which I really don't like. So I'm going to go up to the top right-hand corner and click the theme button. And I'm going to bypass my branded theme. I can change that. You can change that. If you've got the full version of Creative Cloud Express, if you didn't log in with Google, Facebook, Apple, or Adobe, that means you've got the full version to work with. And you can do all your branding. You can have your own school logo, your own school colors, their fonts you prefer, and you can go to town with the brandings. But if you don't, you'll just have these generic ones. And this first one, title, is actually quite a nice one. I'm going to choose an orange background. I'm going to just check it out. I'm going to click on my text and make it a little bit bigger, as well as a little scaling option when you click on the text. So with this time, when I hit the play button, creativity in education is vital. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm ready to move on to the next part of the story. So I've already created a second slide. I don't need to hit that plus button again because it's already sitting there. But if you haven't, then go ahead and hit that plus button and jump into the second part of your story. Get a blank stage. It still keeps the same theme. The theme is consistent throughout your whole video story. And I'm going to do another voiceover saying creativity helps problem solving. So here's my voiceover. Creativity helps problem solving. And instead of previewing it, because I'm pretty sure that worked, I'm going to go to my icon option this time, and I'm going to do a search for problem solving. And I reckon I'll select that one. So just like we have with Creative Cloud Express, the desktop publishing side, we can bring in our icon and then we can manipulate it in some ways. It's not, you can't manipulate it as much as you can with the desktop publisher, but we can do a few things with it from memory. Oh, I'm getting that delay again, Abigail. It's worrying me. Oh, I thought we could scale it. Not quite sure why I can't scale it. I might be having some issues at my end, but theoretically, if there's an image there, you should be able to click on it and there'll be a little scaling button appear at the top right-hand corner. May not. It might be an issue that I'm having, but we'll see how we go. All right, so now that I've got two parts to the story, I'm going to have a preview of my whole story so far. To do that, I need to click this play button down the bottom left-hand corner, this bigger one. So I'm going to click on it now. Creativity in education is vital. Creativity helps problem solving. And notice that automatically is credited that icon, or the creator of that icon gets automatically credited because it's a Creative Commons icon. And if they've added it as Creative Commons, then if they've done the right thing, they've added their name and the name of the icon, and all of that automatically gets credited at the end of your video, which is really, really handy. I'm going to close the preview. To close the preview, you go to the top right-hand corner, click on the little X, and you're back into editing mode again. It's going to very quickly click on number 2 and go into a third one. And this one is going to be Creativity Enhances Collaboration. So now that you've got the idea, just go ahead. You can mute me if you like, if I'm disrupting you, but just go ahead and start building your own little story with about 3 or 4 pages. See how you go. See if you can catch up with me. Creativity enhances collaboration. And I'll do one more. Everybody can be creative in any area of study and life. And just for fun, I'm going to throw in an extra one here. That's totally unrelated. Happy 21st birthday to Lana. All right, I'm jumping back to my slide 3, and it's about collaboration. So I'm going to add a photo this time rather than an icon. And I'm going to do a search for collaboration and see what comes up. So it's searching through some Creative Commons images to work with, and let's find one that's quite a nice collaboration. That's pretty cool. Grab that one. Takes a little while to load, but it'll look good when it's done. That little scaly button is there for a picture, but obviously wasn't there for an icon, so I apologize. What I've done is I've hit that scaly button and I'm able to make it bigger or smaller by doing that. And then part 4, everyone can be creative in any area. So I'm going to just do another picture, I think. There's my favorite favorite creativity image. In fact, I'm thinking I might change the layout of that. So I'll wait for it to load and we'll play with the layout. The way you change the layout, top right-hand corner next to theme is your layout options. And there's an option here to do a split screen. So I'm going to split the screen. So the picture will be on one side and should be able to move that picture a little bit too. Maybe scaling it will help. And what did I say? Everyone can be creative in any area of studies. I'm going to grab that whole sentence that I quoted. I'm just going to bring that in, make it a little bit bigger. And then my last slide was totally irrelevant. It was about happy birthday to Lana. But we'll get to that in a minute because that's going to involve bringing in some video content. And I want to do that separately with you. I'm going to play my story from beginning to see what it looks like. Oh, not hearing my voiceover, which happens sometimes. So if that does, just stop previewing it and try again. Nope. You're probably okay. It's probably the weather that we. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump out of it and jump back into it. And usually that fixes up any of those little bugs that might appear. It's around about this time, it's nearly 5 o'clock in Melbourne, that all the teenagers are on watching Netflix or something at the moment. So the bandwidth is being dried up. So I'm having a few little issues. How are we going in the chat, Abigail? Is there anything I need to address at this point?
No, it's all good. No more questions, but please feel free to put in a question if you would like. I think people are probably busy doing their own videos at this stage.
Is he making? Let's see if this works now. Creativity in education.
Tim, you're on mute.
It's weird.
Maybe the computer's trying to use your microphone for Adobe Spark and doesn't like Teams. I'm not sure.
Someone's actually muting me. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose. There is a mute all button that's somewhere in there, and it usually isn't there because this isn't my meeting room, and this very rarely ever happens. It happened to a colleague of mine once. I was working just a few weeks ago with a whole bunch of Year 10, and because it wasn't his meeting room, the Year 10s decided to play a game and mute him every couple of seconds. So if you've discovered that mute all button, try to avoid pressing it for everybody's sake. All right, so let's see how we're going. Can you go to the chat? I want to know, quick response. Give us a yes if everything's worked really well for you, you've had no issues. Give us a no if it's just been a disaster and nothing's worked for you. Give us a okay if it's kind of worked, but maybe there has been a couple of issues on the way. So Priscilla's good to go, which doesn't surprise me because she's an experienced Adobe user, so she should have been fine. What's I going to say? Thank you. I have to join a meeting now, but I'm off to a great start and will enjoy catching up on the video. Thank you, Osia. And Norika is saying, I created 4 pages, I click play, but it doesn't go to the second screen. Did you hit this play button, the one right down the bottom left-hand corner? Because if you hit this play button, it'll only play the screen that's available, that's visible. This play button will play the whole thing. Just let me know if that's the situation. Abigail, can you keep reading for me?
Yes. Do you want me to read out? So we've got Tracy says, oh yeah, thank you. Good. David says, managed to download video but can't get the music to play. Lindy has created some. Noriko's got that play button now.
Good.
And David said he can't get it to play from the play button as well.
Okay. So David, what I might get you to do, if you don't mind, can you share your screen? If I stop sharing my screen, and if you bring up yours, and then collectively we might be able to see if we can help you. Coming up now. So you've already hit the big play button, because I can see it's in preview mode. Taking a long time to load, isn't it? Now you're closing, you're going back to edit mode, are you? Might be some bandwidth issues. Can you use the X at the top right-hand corner there, David, and close your preview mode, and we'll just see what's going on. Okay, so you've got multiple slides, it's looking good. Hitting the play button, but it's not previewing, is it? Let's try it again. Yeah, it's weird. I must admit, I've never come across this as an issue before. It's a Mac, so it shouldn't have any video card or driver issues. That should just be fine. You're using Safari. It usually works really well. I would suspect, David, that it will download as a video, even though it's not previewing. So at least you know it probably will still work. Oh, you downloaded it already. Yeah, take it back to the start. And we probably won't be able to hear it. Oh yeah, so that's definitely working as a download. That's good. It's just for some reason you're not able to preview it. It looks good. We're not hearing anything, but that's okay. We can see that it is working. Thanks, David. I'll get you to stop sharing. You better plug your laptop in soon. You've only got 26% battery left. Gosh, been a big day. Okay, let's do our final thing with Creative Cloud Express video, and that is to actually add some video content. So maybe open up a final slide, like I did one for my daughter. And instead of doing an icon or a photo, I'll just share my screen again so you can see what I'm looking at. Abigail, can you just confirm that you can see my share screen?
Yep, all good.
Great. Okay, so my last slide wants me to bring in that video content. So instead of choosing an icon or a photo or text, I'm selecting video. So I'm going to click on the video button. And because I want to bring in that little video that I created earlier with you guys, I'm going to search it by going to the downloads. And there it is, there is my project. Clicking in open. And what happens now is you get a slightly different look and feel, because it's going to assume that you don't want the whole video in that slide. You might just want a little portion of the video. So what we can do here is we can go to the edge of the video, and I think we need to Yeah, we need to click on that little symbol here. My pointer's not working for some reason. Having all sorts of issues, Abigail. Let's try my pointer again. Oh, my pointer has died. Oh, well, hopefully you can see just below my daughter's face is that little microphone symbol. Just by clicking that button, it brings up these little bubbles. This is your in point bubble or in point handle, and this is your out point handle. And this allows you to determine how much of the video you actually want to appear in your story. So in this case, I do want the start of it, or near the start of it, just as the T comes in, so just before the T comes in. And I want, if I click in the middle of it, you can see a little playhead that appears, and I can scroll until about here. So the less of the video you bring in, the quicker it takes to bring it in. Please don't think that you can get a whole, say, 5-minute video and then bring in a few seconds of that 5-minute video. It just won't work. This is all designed to do really quick little edits with short videos. If you're wanting to do a 5-minute, I'm about to jump into Premiere Rush, and that'll give you a much more sophisticated video editing tool. In fact, I don't even call this a video editing tool. I call it a video storytelling tool. Much simpler and really designed to do things really quickly with short videos. So I've got my in point, I've got my out point, and now I'm going to click save at the top right-hand corner. And now it's going to bring into my story just the portion between the in bubble and the out bubble. And then I'll be ready to play my whole story. I'll need to scale it down. Now that we're in video mode, I've got scaling, I've got trimming, I've got keep editing, and I've got my little volume control too. It's worth noting that by default, it's either mute or soft. You might, if what you've recorded is important, if the audio is important in it, you might want to just manually change that to loud so that it can be heard over the music that's in the background. That's a little tip for you because a lot of students get confused by that. So let me just scale that a bit smaller so we can see the whole poster. And now I'm going to play the whole story. Creativity in education is vital. Creativity helps problem solving. Creativity enhances collaboration. Everybody can be creative in any area of study and business. Happy 21st birthday to Lana. I don't know about you, but I think that deserves a round of applause. Getting one. There we go. Took a little while to get there, but we're getting there. All right, now. We've only got 25 minutes left, or really only 20 minutes, because there's a few things I want to go with, share with you. So the next part of this session on Premiere Rush, I'm going to treat as a demo rather than a workshop. So I'm just going to demo it because otherwise we'll run out of time really quickly. And I'm going to give you some resources that you can go on to learn more about what I just showed you, but also learn more about Rush, and you can use those resources with your students, and you can share them with your colleagues, and just learn on demand whenever you need to. Before we jump into Rush, do we have any last minute questions about Adobe Creative Cloud Express video? David's already worked out how to download. That's something I haven't shown you, but it's very simple. You just click the download button and then it'll end up in your downloads folder as an MP4. There's a way of sharing it as well. You can share it as on the internet through the cloud, or you can share it through your Google Drive. And you can even invite other people to collaborate with you. So you can have a whole team of people working on the same video, and that's pretty cool as well. That's under the share button. It's also sitting here next to the download button. There's a little invitation tool. That's a nice collaboration tool. All right, let's move on. So now I will download it because I'm going to bring this video into Premiere Rush in a minute. So I'm just going to go through the download process. While that's happening, I'm going to open up Premiere Rush and bring it onto the share screen. So
Tim, there's just one question from Noriko. Can I make the video playing for a few times, would that just be copying the slides?
Oh, look, all you need to do there is just open it up. Once you've downloaded it, you open it up, say, in QuickTime or in whatever media player you normally have. And the media player itself will allow you to loop it or to have it played consistently as many times as you want to. But if you only want it to play 3 times and then stop, you probably will need to literally duplicate or copy and paste it back in. And we can do that with Premiere Rush, actually. It's probably easier to do it with Premiere Rush than it is with Spark Video. But if ever I wanted to loop a continuous video and have it playing consistently, I would just create the one video and then do the looping process in the media player, like in QuickTime or VLC or whatever the media player is that you're working. They generally all have a looping function. Any other questions there, Abigail?
No, I think that's the only one.
All right. So this is Premiere Rush, folks, and I've just moved it into my share screen. When you first open it up, you see there's a Create New Project button. I'm going to try again with my pointer because it's going to make it easier for you to see where I am. Oh, Abigail, this is the first time my pointer has failed on me too. Yeah, it's definitely failed. Give it one more try. Oh well.
You could make your mouse size bigger, I suppose.
Could, but what I'll do is I'll just explain where my mouse is for those of you who've got small screens and can't see it, and hopefully that will help. Top left-hand corner, the Create New Project button is how you start a project, but notice underneath it there's a help file for any help. Really cool learning section that gives you some tutorials on how to learn this. I'm going to give you some of my own tutorials as well, but these are our official tutorials from our Premiere Rush team. They're fantastic. But I'm going to click on Create a New Project. And when you click on Create a New Project, you will recognize that it points to your hard drive. And you've got your desktop, your documents, your downloads, all of your icons that you're used to seeing on your computer are sitting there. So all you need to do is go and select different assets that you want in your video. So you can select some still images, select some videos. Ideally, you want the students to package everything into a folder first, to have all the videos they want, all the still images, all the audio files, all in one folder. It makes it easier to point and work with. But with Premiere Rush, it kind of generates its own folder as you go, so it's not essential to do things the right way. If I was teaching Premiere Pro, I would be insisting that you all create a folder first and have subfolders, a subfolder for stills, a subfolder for footage, a subfolder for audio files, and then you're really careful with your time management. But for now, I'm just noticing that I'm gone into my downloads folder, but it hasn't picked up. I'm just going to double check to make sure my thing has downloaded. Yeah, it seems to. It's called My Project MP4. So that should have come up now in my downloads. Let's see what's going on. Maybe it's not in. I've got too many things in my downloads. That's annoying. I won't. Unable to load preview. I wonder if that's it there, but it says it's a JPEG. Any thoughts, Abigail? It should come.
I'm not sure, unless, yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm not a Mac user.
No, that's okay. Usually it's fine and it appears there and you can just pick it up. So I'm going to go to Plan B and I'm just going to go to my movie section and let me jump into the project that I'm currently working on for my daughter's 21st, and I'll grab a couple of bits of footage from there. So I'm going to my footage folder. See, it's quite an extensive project, this one. And I'm going to select, I'll select that bit of footage. So it gives me a number 1, and I'm going to select that bit of footage as well. And There's another bit of footage there I'm going to select. Doesn't really matter the order. You're just selecting, and as you're selecting things, I'm going to go out of my footage and into my stills folder and select some still images too. And you don't even have to have all of your assets organized. You can pick up any images that are on your hard drive. I reckon that'll do. And then give it a title. So bottom left-hand corner next to project name, just change it from untitled to whatever the topic is. And then on the right-hand side, bottom right-hand side, you click create. So what happens now that you've selected the different assets that you want to appear in your story, it's bringing them all into a timeline so you can edit them, you can work them out and trim them and do all sorts of editing. That timeline's now appeared, and you can get a preview of what is on the timeline by grabbing the little playhead at the bottom left-hand corner. And as I'm dragging that playhead, waiting for it to stop delaying on me, I'll just hit play and see what's going on. Getting an awful lag there. I'm getting a 5-second delay, which is really painful.
Yeah, it's not working that well from our point of view.
There we go, we've stopped. Okay, I think it's nearly caught up. So hopefully you get the idea that you can grab the playhead and you can scrub through your different bits of footage. One of the great things about Premiere Rush is that this button right down the bottom left-hand corner called the control tracks button, when you click on that, you can start to sense the power of this tool. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you count the audio that's in the footage, 4 layers of audio to play with. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of video we can play with. In Adobe Creative Cloud Express, it was just the one layer all the way through and mimicking extra layers as we brought titles. This gives us so much more control. We can have picture on picture on picture on picture. We can have multiple titles in their own different layers. We can have so much control over our video with Premiere Rush. Out of interest, if you're working with Premiere Pro, which is our ultimate video editing solution, there are 96 layers you can work with of audio and video. It's incredibly powerful. And that's why it's the chosen tool for production houses like Marvel Studios for their blockbuster films. And yet your students potentially have access to it as well. So that's pretty powerful. So the way to do some basic editing, you can just go to the edge of your footage, and I might actually delete that footage because it might be that bit of footage that's causing the delay. Here we go, this one's a bit better. So as you go to the edge of the footage, you can start trimming the beginning and the end of it. If you want to make a cut inside it, you take the playhead to wherever you wanted to make the cut. And then you can go to the little scissors tool, which is on the left-hand side, click the scissors tool, it makes an incision and allows you then to bring other objects in. So it's really cutting and moving things around. If I wanted to grab this, where's my still images? For some reason they didn't come through. So I'm going to go and find some more assets. Up the top left-hand corner is a plus symbol that allows me to go and find other media to add to the story. And if I go to your media, it's going to jump back to my hard drive again. And I'm going to grab that still image there and click add. That should then come in. Okay, I'm going to make my timeline a bit smaller because I think those images are there. It's just that the video footage is too long. So I might get rid of this bit of video because it's making my project too big. Oh yeah, the pictures are there. It's just that my video was too big to be able to see them. That's the issue that I had. Wouldn't have been a problem if I used my original MP4 that we created at the start of this session, but there we go. So I'm going to zoom right in so we can see these images. And this little sliding tool down the bottom left-hand corner, which is causing me grief because I'm having those delay issues again. Here we go. This only happens occasionally, Abigail, with Microsoft Teams when it's working full on. I might actually turn my camera off to see if that helps a little bit with the bandwidth and the lagging. And let's see, here we go. Hasn't really helped. Oh dear. All right, just to save time, because we're running out of time, I'm going to get rid of that video because it's probably also causing problems. And now we've got these still images appearing. And what I can do is move them up. I really want to zoom in. Here we go. By the way, if you're an iPad school, there's an iPad and there's an Android version of Premiere Rush. And you can do all of this on your phone as well. It's actually the first ever mobile phone full-on video editing solution with multiple levels of audio and video to work with. So that still image is now superimposed itself on top of the video. You can see how the layers are working in that way. You can double click, and now I've got like a picture-in-picture effect. Just by scaling the picture, making it smaller, it's now sitting in the top right-hand corner of my video. So if I hit play, we're getting a sense of how that works. So that gives you the basics. At the top right-hand corner, we've got a whole set of tools here that allow us to add graphics into our story, like special animated titles that you can bring into the start and lower third text. They're called motion graphic templates, and they've been built with Adobe After Effects. So you don't need to know anything about After Effects, and you can manipulate the titles, change the text. There's transition graphics, there's overlays that you can bring in as well. Below the graphic symbol on the top right-hand corner is a whole range of different transition effects, from cross-dissolve to get a nice sort of smooth dissolve between one part of your story to the next. You can wipe left to wipe right. You can slide down. You can pan and zoom your still images, so they kind of got that Ken Burns effect. And auto reframe too. I'll worry about that later. There's some really lovely color correction options that are pre-built, so presets for color correction. Or if you click the edit button, you've got all of these controls that you can manually control your colors and highlight different things, and bring down the shadows and the temperature, and play with that. Every different asset within your story can be color corrected and changed manually. That's a lovely introduction to the world of color correcting, which is often not taught very well at school, but something that if a video editor wants to go into university, they really need to have their head around. You can change the speed of the video. You can speed things up, you can slow things down. You can work with all your different audio settings. Most of it's done with artificial intelligence. So you bring in some music, the music will automatically drop when someone's talking. Little things like that just make the whole job a lot easier. And finally, you've got these tool here that allows you to do some cropping. So crop the video, crop the still images, change the positions, the basic horizontal, vertical position, and so on. And everything that I just showed you, you could be doing on your phone. And so it's a really powerful tool. We're just about out of time. Abigail, is there any questions there or comments?
No, I think we're all good. Just the recording will be available for everyone after.
What I'm going to do is share with you a link now that has some tutorials that we've created for all the Adobe Creative Cloud Express, but I've also thrown in some Premiere Rush tutorials in this as well. Now, let me find the reference point for this tutorial, and I'll put it into the chat to make it easier for you. But those watching the recording, you can see it sitting there on the slide now, adobe.ly, oh, that's the wrong one, /express-APAC, there it is. I've got it in my notes, and I'm going to bring it into the chat. So if you click on that link that's now in the chat, it's going to open up my video so you can see me. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to open up this resource from the chat and bring it into the share screen to show you the value of this. The first thing that comes up in this resource is a video that explains what Adobe Creative Cloud Express is all about. The first video is one that I've made, so it's pretty much a lot of the things that I've just sort of shown you is explained as to what is the Creative Cloud Express and how you can access it and how it's free for schools and so on. There's the official Adobe video that's similar. That's the official one from America, not quite as detailed. And then you can go into the contents, and there's an introduction to what this is all about, how to get started. If we scroll down to the video stories, everything that I showed you about Creative Cloud Express is now explained in individual little videos. So how to add titles to a video story. If you click on that, it has a little 1.5 minute video that explains that process, but also a PDF that gives you a step-by-step guide on how to follow that process. And you can print that PDF out if you want to and give it to your students, or you can just put it onto the classroom wall or put it in the learning management system so they've got it there as a reference. This is all Creative Commons, it's all free, and you can use it any way you want to. There's no copyright associated to any of this. Each of the PDFs also has a QR code link to the video as well. So if you prefer to learn via video, you've got that option. If you prefer to learn just by following the steps, you've got that option as well. If we go back to the content, you'll notice right down the bottom of all of this is a new section now called Working with Premiere Rush. Now, this isn't new. I created this a couple of years ago, so it's slightly an older version of Premiere Rush, but still pretty much the same. There's only been a few changes since then. There are more changes coming, so I will have to update these at some point when the new changes come, but at the moment it's still really relevant. And these are little videos that help you, first of all, an introduction to Premiere Rush, how to get started with the Premiere Rush project, talks about the timeline tools and how to work with them, and then the other editing tools that are in Premiere Rush that are available. So hopefully that'll be helpful. There's no PDF associated with this. It's all just videos and then how to export it. So that's a good resource for you. I'm going to finish off this webinar by introducing you to Rob the robot, who's my personal assistant. And Rob is going to share with you some other resources that hopefully I'll get into the chat. Now, Abigail, I don't know if I ever gave you a list of these resources in the past, but if I did, see if you can beat me to the chat to put them in. And we'll have a little race. But here's Rob. By the way, Rob was created with Adobe Character Animator, which is a real-time animation tool that tracks your face. So as you move your head, the puppet moves its head. As you talk, the puppet opens and closes its mouth as recorded. So this video only took me about 30 minutes to put together with Character Animator, and I used Premiere Pro to stitch it all together.
Hi there, it's Rob the robot here from the Adobe Education team. Thank you for being involved with this Adobe in Education event. On behalf of the team, I would like to share some follow-up resources that will not only benefit you, but also your colleagues and wider education networks. Use this QR code or link to find out more about the Adobe Creative Educator program. This is a badging program that involves multiple levels. To obtain the Level 1 badge, you need to do the Creativity for All course on the Adobe Education Exchange. The focus of this course is creativity in education rather than Adobe. You don't need to be an Adobe expert or even a regular Adobe user to get your Level 1 badge. Inject Creativity Live is a live and on-demand show on the Adobe for Education YouTube channel. It is recorded every second Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Time during the school terms. Each show features a practical demo from a teacher who is an Adobe education leader. The demo is of a practical Adobe application and how that teacher is using it in the classroom. Each show also features a thought piece from a leading education thought leader. The show also features me. Let your colleagues know about Inject Creativity Live and join the live audience every second Wednesday night. This QR link take you to our contact form. Use this form to make sure you are on the email lists for our monthly updates for Australasian teachers. This QR link takes you to the Australasian Adobe in Education coming events site to keep you and your colleagues informed with the wide range of professional learning opportunities that are freely available to all educators in any curriculum area and level. We hope you enjoyed this session. Please do share what you've learned with your colleagues and wider education networks, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.
Thanks, Rob. And just to remind you that we do have another session that's Adobe related on March the 29th at 3:30 p.m. your time. It's about publishing text, images and video content to the world or to the person next to you with Adobe Creative Cloud Express. So it's the final part of the Creative Cloud Express series. We started by looking at the graphic design, the desktop publishing side. Today we looked at the video side, and this will be looking at the online publication or web page side of Creative Cloud Express. So I hope to see you at that session. There's another QR code or link to our contact form if you want to get on our newsletter so that you can keep up to date with all the things that are happening in the world of Adobe. I'd like to thank Abigail for helping to moderate this session. Notice all the links that are in the chat. They're all live, so you can access those directly. Otherwise, look back at the recording. I'm happy to hang around for a few minutes if anyone's got any specific questions. Other than that, I want to say thank you and keep being creative.
Thank you so much, Tim. Another fantastic session and lots of teachers and corporate staff getting lots out of it. So thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Abigail. Terrific. Thank you, Karen. Wow factor. That's what I like to hear. Thank you, Priscilla.